Tonight I'm working on an issue 6A board. This one here, it seems to have the ROM chip missing. It still has antenna output, as you can see here. And I don't know if there's anything else wrong with the board. The Z80 CPU seems to have been replaced, because this has been clearly resoldered, but there's no socket on it underneath. And most of, if not all, of the upper RAM chips have been replaced as well, it seems, because all of those don't seem original factory as well. So let's hope that the chips are okay. We don't know, of course. The DC input is corroded a lot, so that will be replaced. I do it by default nowadays, but it's still good to show. And the 7805 will be replaced as well before switching it on, because this will get hot without the heatsink quickly. There's nothing else I can see that I think I need to work on, so let's start this time with testing the ULA chip that's on this board and adding a heatsink, because we're going to heatsink it anyway. And of course we need a heatsink then. So that's one. But before putting it on, let's do a test. And I've got a known working board here which still needs a new ULA socket, because I test ULA chips on this board a lot, and it's still the original socket from 40 years ago, so it's getting some issues slowly, but it still works, so it's okay. Let's see if this ULA chip is fine, and then connect the keyboard to test the keyboard input and to check out the tape input as well, because sometimes ULA chips are deaf. Where is my keyboard? Alright, so this is my own board for testing. As you can see, I think all chips now except for the 1889 has been socketed, everything else has been socketed. So let's power it on. Yes, it's not working, it's not booting up. Why? Okay, I think I can show you. Yeah, here it is. So this is not good. It's a simple test, but let's grab the die card and see if it does anything. Now it does. That's strange. That's weird. I'm not sure what this could be. Let's give it a run and see if it tests okay. It's on my own board, of course, but it says unknown ROM chip. Why? There's a 48K ROM chip in here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Let's continue testing the RAM chips. So, oh, okay, so there seems to be a problem with the ROM, actually. That's odd. That's the reason that it's not booting. Let's grab another ROM chip. I don't know why. It's the first time. I've used this board a lot, so the rest seems to be okay. So the ULA chip seems to be fine. It's just the ROM chip in this board, which seems to have gone corrupt for some reason. I don't know. It's a bit weird, but let's test another one. But the only thing I need to do is connect those two pins to each other, because this ROM chip is too big. So one of the address lines, the upper one, needs to be connected to 5 volts all the time. And it's not booting, as you can see. So that's because the ROM chip is faulty for some reason. So that's strange. I will test it again later, because I think this has always been working. So maybe I've replaced it recently. I don't know. So I'm actually soldering. I don't have any space, but I'm soldering the 2 pins on the ROM chip here. We'll show you in a second. And I need to open a window, which I forgot again. It's not nice. The soldering is not good enough, so let's do it again. You want a proper connection. It's better, but that pin 27 is not really cooperating. Maybe it's the same with the other chip that's not working, but we'll see. It should work. It's not really not wanting to get solder on the pin, so that happens from time to time with all chips. Anyway, let's test this without the die card and see if it boots up. Yeah, that's better. But it doesn't. It seems to only detect 16K, which is odd because we just tested it. It's not. I don't know what it is. Let me test the other relay chip, because strange things are going on at this board with this board at the moment. So let's test the non-working relay chip. It's better. It could be the socket, or could be the socket. Now it's working fine. Now it's not. This board is just messed up. I used it so many times. I think it's just that. So I still need to replace that socket as stated, but I want to just know if this relay chip is working. So pins are clean enough. So let's test it again and see. No, it's not behaving as it should. I'm not willing to replace this socket at this moment. So what we'll do is, oh no, we cannot grab another board because I don't have one. All right. Well, anyway, what we will do is just leave this board for what it is at this moment and check that later on, and get the other board refurbished and test the relay chip and that. So it works, but it seems to have some issues that could be caused by this bad socket here. So just leave it as it is. We'll test it later. Sorry. So we cannot test the tape input at this moment. We'll do it later on as well. Okay. Back to this board. Let's do the standard stuff first, including replacing the capacitors. Someone complained a bit about why I replaced the capacitors, and I replied to him in a previous video. He says 4 of my boards are still having the original capacitors and they were great. That's not my experience. Loads of boards with the original capacitors, ZX Spectrum 48K boards actually, have problems caused by the capacitors. Maybe not defects or other stuff, but the board just shows issues, for example, when the screen output or something else. So it's really wise to replace them. Capacitors are rated mostly for something like 20 years of operation, not for 40 years. So I just replaced them anyway, and I warranty these boards, so I must, so not much reason why not. Okay, so I'm leaving the ROM chip out. I just need to clean the pads first, and I could solder in a socket, of course, which I will, but maybe for testing that's not needed for at this moment. Let's open these holes. Need something bigger to put underneath. That's about big enough. Not quite, but we'll get there. Alright. Yes, that's clean. Let's get a recom voltage regulator and a new DC circuit. Let's put a light on the desk instead of on the wall. Oh, it's on the top. There was some solder left here on the top, sorry. Okay. That's better. I want to make sure the top is clean, because if you solder on, for example, a DC connector, it will be lifted up with any solder that was left on top of the board, and I don't like that. Alright. That's one. Then it's not quite straight, so let's move it a bit so people with ODD won't notice. It's a lot better. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty nice. We'll do the bottom cleaning later on, just clean the top for now, because we can do that. And the edge connector is quite dirty as well, so it looks like someone has used sandpaper to clean the edge connector, which is not good. You can retin them if you're careful with a low temperature, and then remove the excess solder with solder wick, for example. I've done that sometimes with really bad edge connectors, but doing it with sandpaper will make the copper visible, which is visible here and there. It's not that bad, so I'm going to leave it as it is. But all right. I think we're about to replace the capacitors, and we'll test the ULA chip later on. So I don't think the ROM chip on my own board was faulty. I think it's something with the ULA socket, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll test it out later. Yeah, let's clean the pads of the ROM socket. On top, I think it's clean. Yeah, there's no problem on top. Just a little IPA will remove any flux remainings. Then we'll get to the bottom, because there could be a solder bridge after removing the chip. It looks really nice. Yeah, we need some solder wick for this part here, because this hasn't been cleaned at all. So someone grabbed the ROM chip out of this, maybe for a Harlequin board or something. All right. There's no solder bridge anymore. I will check with the magnifier in a second, but there's a bit solder remains here, but no bridges. It's a pity that the person who seemed to have replaced the Z80 CPU didn't put a socket in between, because that would be a good thing to do when replacing the chip. Right, so coil is really not straight. Should I do something about it for the aesthetics? I think I should. Let's do it. Just move it a bit, but it wants to. Yeah, it wants. Just a bit. That's really a lot better. It's about straight. So we'll do cleaning later. Nice. Now get to the capacitors. So this is an issue 6A board with all the original capacitors. I think I will just cut them first. First do some reflowing of the pad, so it will be easier. And we will need a slight modification on the board to use an EEPROM, which I will do later. for testing, that's not needed, because if you connect the die card, you don't need the internal ROM. And I bet the UDA chip is just working fine. It shouldn't be a problem, as far as I could see. It's just the socket on the test board of mine. I will replace it one day. I think it has been like that for 4 months or so, since the problems began. So really should do it, but once I find the time. Right. So this time we could lift that pin from the top, which is not really what normally happens. That's okay, it's fine. Because of the huge ground plane on the bottom, which is present, I think, at all static spectrum boards. No, it's different here. Look, that's the reason. So this is meshed, and that's why you can lift the pin from the top. The heat is not spreading that quickly as with the solid ground plane, so that's good. So the 6A boards are probably a bit easier for that. All right. Goodbye, old capacitors. Sorry for the people who don't like replacing capacitors when nothing is wrong yet, but I do replace them anyway. I think I can. I could make a video showing the ripple on the voltage lines before and after replacing the capacitors. I could do that one day. So just grab a board that still works and then show the difference. I bet it will be a huge difference, because using 40-ohm capacitors will definitely cause a huge ripple on the voltage lines. That must be noticeable. Okay, which other parts? Yes, this one here. But I've done other videos in the past showing problems that could cause defects or faults on boards. And you could prevent them if you want to, but some people just don't want to listen to those videos for some reason. Some people think that I just want to sell more of my own products because of that, and that's not the case. So for example, with the plus 2A and plus 3 machines from Sinclair, the original voltage power supplies often are causing issues that are not noticeable when using the machine without any add-ons. But if you connect something to it, often both the machine and the add-on die. And I've had so many people that, for example, picked up their Spectrum after dozens of years, and then the machine seemed to work, but after buying an add-on and using it for a while, maybe a day or something, the machine dies and the add-on dies, and then they blame the add-on. And most often it's a voltage, the power supply. So that's because as well of capacitors and maybe some other parts like amplifier parts and so. But I cannot take the blame for that, of course. For some reason, it is not happening that much throughout last year, but before that, after the last like 5 years, it happened quite a lot. So maybe 1 out of 50 or 100 sold items. I heard I got a message that the machine died or something like that. Sometimes the machine still worked, but the add-on just died. And it was always something with the power supply. Anyway, you don't have to take it from me, but it's just my experience. You can still refurbish the original power supply. That's a good thing to do, especially because those are about the beginning of the era with the low-cost capacitors and all kind of stuff, which were known to develop problems sooner than capacitors on these 40-year-old machines. So if you buy if you bought a ZX Spectrum Plus 3 in, what is it, 1999 or 1991, then maybe those already had worse capacitors than 40-year-old Spectrums. Right, so I think I've got all the pads clean, empty. Just need to clean it up a bit. And for this board I have something special. I think you will like it. Not the board itself, but it's about a case. I hope I can show you. I always do these videos at the end of the day, so it's really working against the clock before dinner is ready, you know. But we have still some time left, so won't be a big issue. Yeah, should be plenty of time. Maybe you should just start the day with making some videos instead, so you don't need to hurry that much. All right, let's use some air to dry up. That's done. Oh, just the 100 microfarads here. That looks a lot better. So, famous capacitor cabinet. I still need to buy more. I just did a count a couple of days ago for the end of the year, so I could do a round of buying chips and parts, of course. But let's just get this board done. Alright, let's see, issue 6A to the right, 22, and a 1 microfarad for a reset. And another one, I think, the 6A 1 microfarad into the top. And then I think only one, just one more 1. And one more 4.7 and one more 22. So many capacitors on this board. And then we have them all. So I haven't powered on this board at all, so there still could be things wrong, like the transistors in the folded power circuit or something else. We'll test it with the die card in a second. Alright. The last two boards, I think, that I made a video of didn't have that many problems, so that was cool. Normally the boards need more work, especially when someone sends them in for repairs, then you know that, but this board just hasn't been done anything with. It's still on the antenna. Let's change that. Oh, someone asked why I don't use the transistor modification on the composite video, and I still need to do some final proper tests to see which of the several different options you have for creating composite video output on this connector, and which is the best, because I don't want to use something that might cause the spectrum not to work on some displays. You could say, well, it doesn't work on some displays with the standard composite video output like I'm doing now, but maybe the transistor output creates new problems, you know, so I want to make sure that that's more close to the signal levels of a real composite video signal before getting to a different solution that I'm doing now. And I don't mind adding a transistor, for example. Some people use a capacitor, but transistor might be better. But I want to know which is the best one, and I haven't checked that completely. So I've done some digging into, but not entirely, so we'll see about it. So we have done a composite video mod, we have put in new capacitors, we can power it on now, of course with a ULA chip in, otherwise we won't see anything that's in. This is also the original socket for the ULA chip, but it hasn't been used much, I guess, so that's okay. Let's do a test with the die card, because we want to see if the voltage levels are present, all of them. And the modular is wobbly, so we need to solder it again, put it a bit closer to the board as well. We'll do it in a second. First, let's see if when we power on, if we get all the voltages. We have, and it's actually booting up, and we can clearly see already an issue. You can see it as well. I think it's the second chip here from the right, or the third maybe, that's not working. It's 2, so this is 0, 1, 2. So this chip here needs to be replaced. And fortunately, we got some STC chips out of the board that I was working on a couple of days ago, and maybe my own board has some STCs. Yeah, but they're not the same type, so I think I will check the ones that I pulled out from the other board. But it's looking good, so that's nice. Let's grab the chips that I got out. Yeah, these will suit the replacement a lot better. I haven't tested these, so that's important to do, and now let's hope that my own board is still working okay with my own ULA chip. Let's see, is that going to work? Yeah, that's fine. So I just need to test one of these chips and see if we can use them before replacing the other one. Which one is closest? I think 8507. I only have 84s here, but I'm looking for one that's looking similar to the ones that are in the board already, and this is one of them. Pins are not entirely clean, so let's do some fiddling with it. So I can at least put them in the socket here to test, and I will solder them in the board so they don't have to be clean completely. All right, let's see. No problems with this chip, from what I can see at this moment. That looks quite nice. So we still could have an issue with the ULA chip on the new board, because this ULA chip seems to work perfectly, but it could just be the socket on this board, as I said earlier. So let's assume that the ULA chip on the other board is good, but we'll see in a second, because once we put in this working chip, the machine should boot up completely fine. It should, with the die card of course, because there's no ROM in here. Let's get that chip out and put a new one in. or the tested one. It's still an original 40-year-old chip, but it's just nice to have the same type, or almost the same type. So a couple of more minutes to replace a chip. Should be that one. It's almost heated up. So in the manual of the die card, I got some maps of which RAM chip corresponds to which error message on the screen, which is really useful. So if you order a die card, you will get a manual. You sometimes might need it, and if you remember which bits correspond to which chips, of course you don't need the manual that much. So these low RAM chips die a lot, and as I often say, especially when using boards with original parts, that could cause those problems. Hence I always start with replacing the capacitors, and a board like this really needs to have a test duration of something like at least an hour or maybe longer, preferably inside the case. So it heats up a bit to see if all the chips are still working, because if one chip dies, there's a good chance that other chips are getting faulty as well, you know. So give it a good test. I think an hour or something like that is long enough. We'll have reached the maximum temperature then. Once I, of course, test those boards for an hour only with the heatsink that has been a ULA chip that has been heatsinked. And not with the ULA chip without heatsink, otherwise you will destroy the ULA chip. There's a big chance of doing that. That's what the ULA chips are known for, and especially the Type 6 chips, but Type 7s don't get that hot compared to the older versions, but still could happen. Let's see if this one is, yes. Loose enough, almost. Yeah, it's getting out. It's getting out. Alright, there you go. Let's take a close look if we're not bridging anything. And I really like it. When you do this a lot, you don't damage that much pads anymore. So experience is good for many things. Mainly not causing new problems when you're trying to repair something. It really fits in well. I don't think many people will see that that chip is not original. Can you see it easily? No, it's not that clearly visible. So it's a good thing. We know it's working. We'll give it a good test. I'm not going to put a socket in because I like to keep these boards looking as original as possible. Except of course for the capacitors, but these blue ones look just great on this board. Alright. I think we have to do some cleaning before testing it again, because I cannot guarantee 100% that it's not bridging anywhere. I think I should just clean it. So let's do that. Now the bad chip for the batch of bad chips. I got a huge box of them and save them all because of the historic, nostalgic aspects of it. Alright, let's give it a good clean. Let's see where we'll start. I think here, just here, where we just soldered. Still very brown. It's less brown now. And once the brown is gone, the board is clear, it's clean. Right. Should be enough. Some solder blobs in between here. I don't like to keep them in because they can come loose and potentially cause shorts and other problems. So I like to get all blobs out. Hence it's better to clean the pads before soldering the new chip. That looks quite nice. Now I think I've seen flux remainers, yeah, a lot on these chips as well, so I will clean that part as well. In this orientation, because I need to put it, get all the IPA over here as well. So let's do it this way. And the Z80 CPU, I hope it works fine. I hope the M1 line is working. I think so, because we got the error message, but I'm not sure. We'll see. That's quite brown, as you can see. Not sure if it's from these tips. Yeah, these tips are so. The more brown it is, you know, then you're getting more flux remainers over the board, so that's a good thing. I like when it's really brown. These drops are really, really brown, as you can see. Anyway, it's near ink brown. Pigment. All right. Now the brown is almost gone, so I think we can leave it as it is this way. It's a bit wet on the top as well because of the holes of the ROM chip that's not in. It's not too bad. Not sure what's on the CPU. That's better. There was something on the CPU, some residue on it. I don't know. It's almost gone now. Right. What do you think? Is the board working fine now? And will the ULA chip work fine? I think it will, because I know that the socket on the other board is not perfect anymore. So I guess the board will work just fine. But let's check that out. We'll find out in a second. All right, it looks a lot better. Yeah, there's the picture. I think you even have sound, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it should work. All right. Well, we have 16K working. That's great. Yeah, there's no ROM in there. That's true. You found it out correctly. Die card. Let's press 1. And we'll test the remaining parts of the board. And it will not boot to Spectrum Basic because there is no ROM chip. By the way, Thomas Iberle from Syntec in Germany was asking people to do reviews for the portable ZX Touch, which I think it's really cool. I was thinking of developing something years ago myself, but I never came to it. But if you guys like me to do a review of that, I will buy one and I will do that. Okay, the board is working fine, and now you will get the well-known lines that indicate there's no ROM inside the board, so that's just normal. I think the board is okay. We haven't tested all of the features of the ULA chip yet. We'll do that in a second once we have a ROM chip in. And for that, as I've already told you, that I need to do a couple of small modifications. So let's grab those parts for that. We need 2 small signal diodes. Here we have 2 and 1 10K resistor. I really want to know if the ULA chip is okay, because then I can put a heatsink on it and remove the socket, of course, but we'll do that in a second. And we need a 28-pin socket for the ROM chip. So it's almost certain that that ROM chip is working fine as well, because we can just lift it out. I will test it in this board in a second. So for replacing ROMs, I just use an EEPROM. Got the Sinclair ROM on it. Right, let's heat up the soldering iron. The pads are really thin. I hope it's not becoming a problem, because I might retin them. I think it would be better to retin them, but it's a lot of work. Otherwise, one day the pads could come off the circuit board itself, which wouldn't be good. That's a risk. For now, we'll leave it, but maybe I will do it before shipping it to the customer. I'm not sure. Now, there's still enough copper underneath. I can feel the height difference. So I think it's good. I think it's okay. Let's leave it this way, because trying to reflow them with new tin can also cause the problems, of course. And we still need to clean that, of course. We'll do it in a second. Do we need to solder in other parts? I don't think so, not at the moment at least, because we still need to remove the socket for relay chip after testing, of course. The sound was also working, so I will leave this one as it is, because we need to clean two sockets in a moment. We want to know if the relay chip is working correctly. So we're going to test it now. The M1 line of the Z80 CPU is working, because the die card didn't give an error message, so that's good. We're going to test the keyboard, and we're going to test the tape input. And then we can put heatsink on the ULA chip if that works fine. Right. Okay. It seems to be still at ROM chip. Oh, of course. I'm forgetting the modification that I need to do. Sorry. I just put the parts here. I just forgot it. Alright. I think we can do it this way. So we need to remove these wires here. These are for selecting the model and brand of ROM chip. So one ROM chip has the chip select and output enable reversed compared to other brands. So you have Hitachi, you have a NEC, and those have different pins for enable and chip select. And I really wonder why they just didn't do the enable, select enable all the time, because you just need one input to select the ROM. Just the chip select is enough. So you could leave the chip enabled all the time. It's not a big deal. It will work fine. But Sinclair chose to do it this way, so it has two inputs to select the chip. And this modification will get that down to just one input signal, and the other one will be connected to I think 5 volts to make it select, no, 0 volts, so ground, to make sure it's been selected all the time, because those are reversed inputs. Anyway, let's do that modification. It's documented as well online. So originally what this this modification was to get NEC ROMs work with div-ID interfaces years ago, so like 10-15 years ago. I wrote that modification and described it on the document. But nowadays you can use it as well for putting in a EEPROM like I'm doing now in these boards. So just 2 small signal diodes and 1 resistor, and that's all. And then you have the output enable selected all the time, or chip select, no, output enable, I think. Output enable, yes. The chip select will be controlled by these 2 input signals coming from the ULA chip. It's quite a neat fix. I like it. It's not ugly. It's quite nice. check if that's indeed the ground signal where I'm connecting that small pin to here, because it's different on some boards, so let's check it to make sure. It is. Alright. So we can solder it to that track on the board. That's done, that's done. Nice. So we've given the modification that will solve the problem with the ROM. Now we can power it on again. We're getting there. It takes some time, but slowly we're getting there. Okay, I have a screw here. It's almost falling down. Right. Oh, sorry. Power. It's not working. Why not? Is this ROM corrupt? Could be, because other board has issues with it, but I thought it would be the ULA chip, but we'll see. So let's grab that one, and this should result in lines? No. What am I doing wrong? I have no idea. It's not good. Did I create a short soldering in the socket maybe? I don't think so, but that's just... It boots up with the die card, so that's okay. What am I doing wrong? This is working just fine, so I don't know. I don't know. I can grab an original ROM if I want to, so that could be done as well. I have a couple laying around somewhere. What is going on? Could be the ULA chip, of course, but it could be that the ULA chip is not paging in or paging out the ROM correctly, but let's see what the die card says. This is not completely okay. Let's grab a original ROM. I haven't tested this, but we could test it, of course. Okay, this doesn't detect any ROM properly, so let's see what happens with the original chip. I haven't tested this, but let's see. No, so something is wrong for some reason. I think the socket maybe. I don't think it's a modification, but let's look a bit closer. Can't see anything wrong with that. So let's check the socket. I can't see anything that's wrong. What could be it? What could be it? ULA chip then, maybe? Is it a ULA chip? What do you think, guys? Could be, but would be a pity, of course, if that's the only thing that's not working on this board. Maybe that's the reason that the person got the ROM out, I don't know. Same as with me, maybe. What he thought is not working, I don't know. Let's see. Oh my god, it's the ULA chip. Oh, it's a pity, it's only dead. It's only the select signal for ROM. Oh man. That's a pity. That's the original ROM, so I know that this is working. It's a spare, but it's really a pity. You believe it? Yeah, it's okay. So it's really only the ULA chip. I have more of them, but it's really a waste because that's the only thing that doesn't seem to work. So yeah, all the ROM chips are okay, so that's not the issue at all. What a pity. Okay, I don't mind keeping in this one, I just need to remove this piece of crap here. I really wonder if this is really not working, so I want to do more tests with this chip. maybe clean up the pins. I could do it right now, just clean the pins, because I don't think it's has to do anything with the socket. It feels good. The other board, it feels a lot less plugged in. When you plug it in, you can feel there's a bit of space everywhere. So let's clean it up a bit and see if we can solve the problem by just cleaning up the pins. Could be, but would be a real waste if the ROM chip is only not working for the selecting the ROM chip. Sorry, the ULA chip is not selecting the ROM chip properly. That would be really a pity. It's the first time I have something like that, but let's see. So for this I'm just using some simple sandpaper. Alright. Alright. It looks a lot better. And I will actually check which pin it is that selects the ROM chip. Let me grab a Static Spectrum 48K issue 6A schematic. Let's see if we can find that. ULA. So we have the ROM right here, and we have the chip select and output enable signals, that square, and ROM select. Here it is, pin 34. It goes through a resistor, and then it gets to either the output enable or chip select line, which is active low, as you can see. That's what the L says. We can even measure it, of course, but I guess if it's not working at this moment, we cannot do anything about it, and the chip is just faulty. It's pin 34. So let's just check pin 34 if we can see anything, and then we'll test it again. That's a pity if it will not work, but we'll see. 34. So we got 40 pins. 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So it should be that pin. Let's see if it's dirty or something. It's not worse than other pins, so I don't think that should be any reason, but let's test it again. There's nothing else we can do. Just try to make it work this way. No, it's really not working. It's a really pity. Oh, did you see it? No, you didn't see it. I will check. I will show you. It's really still not working. It's a real pity. So it's really only that signal, and it shouldn't surprise me if I touch it or something that it will reset properly. Now, let me try. No, now it's, you can see it's almost detecting or paging in the ROM, but not quite. All right, so this chip is bad. It's really pity. Really pity. It's the first time that this is the only thing wrong with this chip. So let's move it aside. We can't do anything about it. And let's use that other one that I have here. And I know this one is working, so we'll not do any more tests on it. I will just put the heatsink on so we can continue to work. Because I have more things to do, and I have something nice to show you guys. I think you will like it. So it's clean. Now I have two tubes here. I have the thermal grease. This is Arctic MX2. It's a great paste, and I got some super glue here, and I got my heatsink and a huge screwdriver that I need to use to push the chip onto the heatsink in a second. Let's start with applying the thermal grease. So this is a really big tube. You can use this for years, I think. I think I have this one for about a year now, and it's still not even close to getting empty. Use a small screwdriver to spread it a bit. You don't need much, you just need a tiny amount of thermal grease to get the heatsink on properly. But I will push it down too, so it will spread out on itself by pushing it. And I will use some super glue to make sure it will attach nicely, so it won't come loose. So this is a type 7 ULA chip, which is important because we're using a issue 6A board. It's almost straight, now it is straight. Now I'm pushing it at all sides so I can see it spreading because it's coming out on the sides. It's mostly the super glue that's coming out, but I know that way it's spreading fine. So it's on all sides, and the thermal paste is spread as well. I'm not able to get it off again, of course, now, but okay, let's add a small label, which I always do. So I get really tiny labels here showing which ULA model this is. I think this is my last label for the Type 7 because those I use the most. And I'll put it aside so people can always see what ULA chip model this is, which I think is a little detail that is really nice to have. Now we can remove the socket. Or should we do some simple tests? Well, let's make sure that we're not doing anything stupid again. Just by testing the complete board with the ULA chip, so we know that the keyboard is working and that the tape input is working. And the second. So it's only paging in the ROM chip because the die card worked fine on this ULA chip, you know, the other one. So it's really a pity that it's almost working, but not completely. Maybe you can fix it by using a pull down or pull up resistor or something like that, but I'm not going to waste the time on that for now. Okay. All colors are okay, so that's okay. Let's load Jetpack, I think, or was it Cookie? I don't know. Okay, tape input is fine. The belt is a bit small for this sounding, the replacement belt, so I know it's sounding a bit wobbly, but that's because it's not the original belt, not the correct one. Alright, we know enough. We know enough. So this board is working just fine. It's selecting ROM, it's doing tape input, it registers all keys. This does sound output as well, so we know that the ULA chip is okay and the board is fine. We can now remove the socket and almost finish this way too long video. We're recording for over an hour and we're still not finished, so let's quickly get the socket out so we can finish it. Some hot glue on my screwdriver here. So let's grab another one. I like to use that, by the way, because it gets underneath the ULA chip easy. Alright. Especially with one that has been glued on just a moment ago, I think it's cool to use the biggest screwdriver there, flat screwdriver there. Alright, let's grab some solder wick. I think I need more than this small piece here. So we'll get another small piece, I hope that's enough. And let's remove the socket. As I said in other videos, you need to remove the socket to be able to solder in the ULA chip with the heatsink and still be able to fit it in the rubber key case. This will take, again, about 10 minutes or so. But it's one of the last things we need to do. And then we're going to do some tests. But before doing the test, I will show the nice thing I promised, which I think you will like. And maybe I can give another hint. I will put out the lights for that, because we don't need the lights for that. You'll see. Stay here on the video to see what it is. It's really cool. I like it a lot, and other people as well. This is actually the single last piece of product that I need to fulfill the open orders I have. And if I finish this, then I really can start focusing on other stuff. Not sure when I will upload the video, but just know that this is a real milestone, if you can call it that. It is for me, so that might be it. Let's give it a try. The French would say, c'est tout. Right. Let's clean it up. We need some solder wick on the bottom again. It might get hot because there are 20 holes on each side, so solder wick might heat up quite a lot and I can burn my fingers, but I just need to accept that because this board is way more important than my fingers and I've got 10 of them, so I shouldn't complain. So we were quite lucky with this board once again. Didn't have that many issues as far as we can tell. It's just the one single RAM chip, and unfortunately the ULA chip that was not working. It's a pity, but there are good clones for that nowadays. Don't have many. I think I've got one Nebula, but nothing else. Because I still have so many boards with original ULA chips that it's not a big deal to just grab one of those. But I think 1 out of every 10, maybe 8 boards or so is malfunctioning, and that's a pity. So please, please, please put a heatsink on your ULA chip, cool it down, because otherwise you need to get something else instead of that original, very nice original chip that made the ZX Spectrum. Alright. So I think this will be the final step, and then some cleaning and testing, of course, because I really want to show you that special thing I have in mind. Alright, that should be it. You can see the label on the side, which is nice. I really appreciate that myself, because I can always see if I can put in the correct ULA chip corresponding to the board. This should be it. Let's see if the board is still working. What do you think? There it is. Let's put a die card on it one last time. For now, I will do some more testing with the case on it, but this looks just okay. It's nice that the ZED chip is working. No M1 problems or something. And now let's see if the ROM chip, yes, the ROM chip has been checked and is okay for now. So that was really the ULA chip. As I said, this is the first time that I have a ULA chip that only has a problem with paging in the ROM chip, and that's a pity. So it doesn't seem to be able to page in the ROM chip. It just, yeah, doesn't do that, and the external ZX die card will work because it doesn't need the ROM chip paged in. It actually needs the ROM chip to be paged out, so the ZX Spectrum ROM chip. So this is all almost completely working fine, and we're getting to the last really cool step. You will like it a lot, I think. You may tell me in the replies underneath the video what you think of it in a moment. I think you will like this a lot, and I need to do something because before doing that, I will remove this because we don't need this. I will show you. Alright, I'm still here, just needed to grab something, and the first thing I will connect is this white DC cable. It's white and it's powered off. It should be powered off, I can tell, because there's a 1 on the switch, but you never know if it's connected correctly. And now the best part of it. And this is not what you think it is. Do you know what this is? It has something special, as you can see here. Oh, you can't. There's something special in here. Let's open it up. And let's, where we need to solder it on the bottom of the board, because the board has a Raycom on it. So we need to do some small stuff, but I can only put it on the desk here before cleaning it up. After cleaning it up, I mean, because it's dirty. And with these white cases, I'm really careful not to scratch them. All right. So you might be wondering, if you see this for the first time, what the hell is he doing? But I will show you in a second. I think it would be cool to have some hot glue on these contacts here. Oh, and we need to tighten the modulator a bit. This is not good because I can see it's touching the track on the side. That's really something that should not happen, so let's do it properly. Alright, let's take a look. You're now watching my hair, sorry for that. But I want to make sure there's no shorts or something before going on. Oh, there's my signature on it. It's not my real signature, but it's my name. Alright, let's see if this is not shorting out. This is ground, yeah, that's correct. And this is okay, and this is okay. Alright. Should I put the hot glue on now? I think I will. It will take only a minute. Because my hot glue gun is now 75 watts or something. Which should heat up quite quickly. 70 watts. So we need to wait a second. And in the meantime, let's, while waiting until it's heat up, let's fix this piece here. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can see it. So I'm pushing it in a bit more. And the other side as well, which may be harder, but let's try. It's not much. It is now completely fit to the board. It's a lot better, so it's not wobbly anymore. Right, that has been fixed. The only thing I need to wait for is the heat gun, and then we can power this on. It's just one step I need to take in between, which I already told you that I will show you in a second. So we'll just put some hot glue on it to make sure those wires will not get loose or something. It should be hot almost, because this is really quite a quick hot glue device. Oh, and I need to clean this up as well. Okay, let's do that first then, because I still have to wait, and I don't like waiting at all. But I have made it myself a bit hard, because we already connected the board to the case partially. So how can I fix this then? All right. Should be cleaned up a bit more, because you can still see flux remaining here. That's looking nice. Now the ULA chip. It's a bit harder because I cannot get the IPA off the board easily, so we'll just use my towel for that. That should be enough. Let's take a close look to make sure there's nothing left that needs to be cleaned up anyway. Oh, this is okay. This is just good enough. All right. So I also got a magnifying glass here, but oh, I bumped that. All right. This should be hot now. I don't have that much space, but I just want to attach the wires to the board nicely. Not too much hot glue, but a bit. And let's do a quick cool down and make it flat. I do this a lot this way, so that's okay. All right, so you guys already know what this is. Some, I guess, will, because I've used this product. I've made this product quite a lot already. All right, so this is connected. Now we can get the bottom of the case, which has the feet already on them, so we can just put it flat here. It's no problem. Get this in here and close the case. I think there are no screws that need to be put in. Just need to put some tape between here, because the membrane will touch the modulator otherwise. Alright. And it will cause keyboard issues, of course. So what is this? It is nice. I hope it will work, because I tested this special case already, but not with the keyboard attached. Let's grab some screws, just a couple, to be able to close the case. I have an auto drill, of course, but for just 3 screws, I could just do it this way. And if I'm lazy, we'll grab the electric tool. All right, I'm lazy. That's it. So what is this? It is, I think, the nicest looking original ZX Spectrum with a new case, as you can see obviously, but okay Google, lights off.
Okay, twee lampen uitdoen.
It's way too bright. Can I change the brightness? Let me check. It's looking so good in person. You can see it on the other camera, but let's see if we can bump the light down a bit. No, we can't. It's really oversaturating everything. What can we do about it? Maybe just a little light from the back. Okay, Google, lamp 4 aan. Okay, Google, lamp 4 aan.
Goed, lamp 4 aandoen.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Still too bright for. Oh, that's better. Look. It's too bright for this camera, but it's really awesome in person. I will take a picture so I can show you, and the board and everything is working just fine, which is important. So I'm using actually this keyboard here with all the lights on it. What do you think of it? I will make a photo and put it on over the recording so you can see it. Oh, I'll make a video, put it over recording. Maybe that's better, because my smartphone is picking it up really nicely. So this is the result with my smartphone. It's still lighter than in person. If the edges of the keys are not white at all, so maybe you can put no, I cannot get it down, but it's really looking better in person. For some reason the camera is still too light, but maybe we can change that. Maybe we can change the brightness level here. I don't know. No, I cannot change the brightness level on my video. That's a pity. Is there any setting that will pick it up better? No. Okay, I will add a photo to show you. So let's add a photo. The photo is still making it brighter than it is in person. Maybe from a distance. Maybe I can lower the brightness on the photo at least. That's much more as it is. I think this is better. Yeah, this is more what it looks like in person. So let's put a couple of photos over the video so you know what I mean. And this is a ZX Spectrum, which is just what I call a piece of art. Don't you think? It is working just fine. I can put a div ID the div MC interface on it if I want to. Let's grab one. We can even play a game if we want to. Oh, it's fluorescent, so if you put daylight, sunlight on it, it will light up in the night. Let's load something. Which games show? Oh, this is my standard set of games. let's just get to the menu. This is the new long menu. I want to load, I don't know, I have no idea. Something from Ultimate maybe? Something simple. There's nothing simple. Saber Wolf, so I can be that quickly. I don't know which keys I should use. We'll find out. Okay, that's right, left, and now what's up and down? Please help me. I'm dying. I don't know what up and down is. Oh, this up? Oh, this down. What? No. I cannot play this. I just need a joystick. Let's grab a joystick. And then let's find the piece of the puzzle. Is Kempson enabled? Yes, Kempson is enabled. So this should work with Kempson. Kempson, yes. Doesn't start. Why not? Is it at Kempson? Yeah, it should be Kempson. Yeah, it's not starting. Let's reset. Basic. Ah, we have Kempson, so why is it not working? That should work. We can also play Jetpack now, of course. Let's play Jetpack. Because we have a joystick, so that should work fine. It's a really small screen on my right here, so I will most probably be game over quickly, but we'll see. Just one level then, okay? Oh, yeah, I'm dead already. Let's get some fuel. Just 2 more, I think. All right. Oh, that again, I was watching my OBS recording. Anyway, all right, last one, and I think we can, no, we need one more. Yay, there we go. All right, so as you can see, this machine is working perfectly. It's a pity the camera does not pick up the colors that well, because it's way too dark now, I think. Maybe if I put on the lights here, you can see what it is in the normal situation. Okay, this machine is working perfectly. I will give it a test for something like an hour with the case. But as you can see, it works fine. And I include these white DC switches with them. Unfortunately, I don't have power supplies with white cables, but and also no video cables with white leads. But this is already really cool. What do you think? So, if you like this, these are available on zspectrum.shop. Not at this moment because the shop is still, you can call it closed, because all stock levels are at 0. But as soon as I can, I will put this on stock again, because I made 6 during the last days for customers, and now I'm done. This was the last one, so I wanted to show you that. I hope you like it. Let me know, and I will see you in the next video.